What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week here on the Patterson Report. I'm Philly Brandon. That is Ryan. And I know what you're thinking. Typically, you're on a Wednesday. What happens? We're in the talent booking business, and sometimes schedules get tricky, and people you're trying to grab for shows, have to postpone. So show must go on. We're doing it a day late, but
We would have done it last night if my computer was done cleaning itself.
that too, I forgot we had some technical difficulties, but we're upgrading. Ryan's getting a fresh new computer.
Thank God
this
for Amazon
weekend.
Prime Day.
I got a range extender coming in to hopefully speed
Those
mine
things
up
work.
a little bit. So
I have one down here.
we're putting together a production here. It's coming together slowly but surely. And what's important though is that we're going out, we're looking, and we're adding the pieces we need to be a more successful team, or in this case, a more successful duo. And it's really not a novel concept that, if something's not working or something's, a little bit slower, you go out and you just get better pieces to make that thing work better than it did the year or the podcast previously. Should somebody tell Daryl about that premise? Because right now we're running it back, except for the fact that we lost our 6th, 7th, and 8th guy off the bench. I'm a little worried.
You have the right to be a little worried. I mean, at least we got B-Ball Paul back.
That's true. Getting B-Ball Paul back was big. I love the signing. It makes the Montrez signing even stranger, though, doesn't it? Like, what do we do with him now? And they guaranteed the deal. It's a fully guaranteed, $2.7 million deal? I mean, what's the thought process there?
I have no idea.
I don't think there was one. I don't
that
know.
Wasn't, or he's big braining it.
Yeah, because look, if it wasn't a guaranteed deal, then you cut Trez, and there was a contingency plan to move on. But I mean, he's going to eat up a roster spot all season, and we just watched. Miami's a great case in point. Even Boston goes pretty deep into their bench. These teams. Who was it? Was it Christian Braun out in Denver, a guy who you didn't expect to make an impact, but because they had him on the roster, he was able to kind of flourish. And we're coming into a season objectively old, and we're already wasting roster spots on guys who aren't really going to play. It's like Udonis Haslem almost in a sense, except I don't think he's half the leader that Udonis Haslem is.
Bro is that squad, honestly. Jimmy Butler, then it's him.
Yeah, he's the second option.
He's the second option off the bench, player coach, but doesn't play.
Look, that's essentially what Trez is going to be, except I don't really want Trez mentoring Paul Reed. I mean, he won Sixth Man of the Year one time, and I think Paul Reed's peak might be higher than that. I think he'll never be on this team, I don't think, but I mean, he's a starting center in the NBA, I believe, at some point. Now, if he ever starts for us, that means something's gone horribly sideways. But I think that's where his talent level could get him. Maybe start at the 4. Who knows? Maybe move Tobias to the 3. PJ Tucker doesn't start every game, and maybe play Paul at the 4. I don't know.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right? At this point,
he doesn't shoot it well outside the mid range, but it would. I mean, we get smoked on the glass, dude. It is bad, and I get why. Embiid is. Our focal point of the offense. So he's up at the top of the key. He has the ball in his hands. He's not underneath getting rebounds. But Tyrese Maxey isn't. Tobias Harris, I think, could be a much better rebounder. I guess what I'm saying, the long and the short of it is, for a team with as much length as we typically have, we get smoked on the boards. Maybe Paul Reed at the 4 helps that.
I think he would, but
the offense.
The offense. I mean, if we have Harden, maybe we could swing that. If Harden stays, but if he doesn't, there's no way we're swinging that.
Well, that's the other fun thing is that, the white party happened, and, Spence and I talked about it last week about just, kind of how cringy the white party is. Like, Michael Rubin throws himself a birthday party, and
that's
all these celebrities pretend to be his friend and come out for the night. And just that whole thing just feels kind of desperate.
Got that right. I mean, it was kind of waxy in it, but then I saw the picture of all the Sixers together. I'm like, I can get behind this concept a little bit.
Yeah, the Sixers pick was tough. Like there was one with like Tobias looking pretty sauced, and Embiid was having a good time. James Harden had like that giant Uno chain on that was looking pretty tough. And watching, like looking at that, even Tyrese Maxey was there because that was kind of cool. That's like not really his scene usually. So I was like, all right, you know what? Kumbaya, everybody put it behind them. We at least have the starting lineup back together. Maybe we'll be a 4th or a 5th seed. And then Ramona Shelburne had to open her mouth and go, well, James Harden still does want to be traded. And you know what? I hate her for it, but she's right. I mean,
she is right.
His camp doubled down. They said, move me still. So
they're still boys. They're always going to be boys. But
yeah, but dude, be boys here. Where the hell does he think he's going to go?
LA?
They don't want him. They've made that explicitly clear.
I know, but like, that's probably where he wants to go, right?
I'm sure it is, but dude,
he doesn't want to go back to New York, right?
No, he wants to go to the Clippers. But like, just if you're James Harden, use a little bit of critical thinking. The Clippers don't want to part with the likes of Terrence Mann, not N, or Norman Powell to get your services. That's how much they value you, James Harden, at this point in your career. That's where you want to go?
I don't know, man. There's no better spot for him, and I just he's gonna leave, do something.
I get it from the basketball perspective. I get it because there's no other team who's interested in him that will put less pressure on James Harden. All he's going to have to do is facilitate. Whatever he does is great. Whatever he fails to do, it's whatever. But like, he can be that here. His beef apparently in the offseason was that Doc limited his role too much. Fine, I kind of agree. But what, you want to go to a team where your role is going to be smaller than it's ever been?
I mean, Doc's gone, so I feel like it's a lie, but what do we know?
No, apparently nothing. But, I mean, if James Harden doesn't come back, what's the expectation for this team then?
Probably a 6 or 7 seed.
Hopefully
get past the first round.
Yeah, I think
give B-Ball Paul his money.
Dude, that was such a devious fucking contract. Because I mean, what was it? The Jazz. I mean, they're looking out at it's the Grizzlies, right?
I think it was the Jazz. It was the Jazz.
It was the Jazz. Okay.
Grizzlies don't have any money.
Okay, yeah, because I mean they're looking on the outset of their season, thinking, we're probably not gonna get to the second round, but Philly will, and we can stick it to them if we just put this clause in there. And I mean, Daryl kind of fought back a little bit and did the whole like, oh, I'll let you know at the very last second. But I mean, they still took his lunch money, I think, on that one.
Yeah, they did, but I'm okay with it because it's B-Ball Paul and he's a Philly legend. Is it good for the team? Absolutely not. Is it good for B-Ball Paul? Absolutely.
It's great for B-Ball Paul. I mean, he's officially out the mud. He got a 3-year, $24 million deal. One of my favorite podcasts, the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, had B-Ball Paul on this season, and they asked him, like, hey, what's the number? What's it going to take to get B-Ball Paul back in Philly? And Paul wouldn't say. He was like, no, it's my age. I'm not going to get involved in that, whatever. And I think it was Spike Eskin said, it's going to be $8 million. He needs $8 million to come back. And then a year later, 3-year, $24 million deal, Paul Reed needed $8 million to get back. Weird how that happens. Speaking of getting back.
Nice.
The Phillies are running an Uber service for superstars who are unhappy in their current situation. And Juan Soto, your ride is here. Now, look, you can look at this as the Phillies are playing the Padres in Citizens Bank Park this upcoming week. And there was no sense in Soto going back to San Diego to fly over with the team. The more fun way to look at this is a 5.5-hour uninterrupted tampering session with Rob Thompson, the entire coaching staff, and his outfield mate, Nick Castellanos. That's how I choose to look at this.
I choose to look at he wanted to spend some time with his boys. Hopefully it's a tampering trip, but he was still on those teams with Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. They're still probably cool. Like, I don't think they have any.
Yeah, but neither one of them. Oh wait, no, hold on. No, neither one of them they wouldn't have been on that plane.
Oh crap, you're right.
Yeah, because they'd already be there.
They'd already be there. Yeah, they didn't go out to Philly, or they didn't go out to the All-Star game at all.
No,
Thought they
not that
did.
I'm aware of.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's my bad. But tampering session away. I want to know, was Josh Hader invited on this flight too? Like, or was it just one? So they're like, we're gonna leave you there, Josh. Have fun.
I mean, if you're Josh Hader, I'm not. After what we've done to that man, I mean, Alec Boehm and Matt Vierling broke his soul last year, and he hasn't been the same pitcher since. So I doubt Josh Hader wants to be on a team playing anywhere near the Philadelphia Phillies. And look, if we're being realistic, I don't know I don't think Juan Soto's coming anytime soon.
No.
I think John Middleton is a phenomenal owner. I think he has that, like fuck it money that you want your owner to have and the addiction to winning. But he's not going to employ $300 million men on one team. Dude, there's just no way. And Soto be the highest paid of that trio.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no shot. Not to mention the fact, you're looking down the barrel of a Nola extension. Wheeler's not far off. Suarez is going to have to get paid pretty soon. Like you have checks coming up. So I'm all for not blowing that on Juan Soto.
Yeah, I am too. What I meant to say is he wanted to go back to spend time with his boys.
Yeah.
Maybe Trey Turner was like, hey, you could crash at my place for a few days.
Yeah, and he might have gotten here early and just kind of hung out with the guys. Oh God, what was it? It was do you know Alec Boehm and Brandon Marsh live together?
I did not know that. That is really cool.
Yeah, they're roommates. I had no idea. And then the Phillies account posted about it a little while ago. Someone's got to ask Alec Boehm what the shower routine is like in Brandon Marsh's life.
He's probably got like those, probably got like 6 or 7 shampoos. He has to, right?
I don't. Oh no! Oh, you didn't hear that? He doesn't wash his hair during the season.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he just keeps it eternally wet so it doesn't get greasy.
Oh.
Now this season could be different, but last year he didn't wash his hair.
Well, it worked. So maybe I hope he's not washing his hair again. So.
Yeah, he is playing really, really well this year. And, obviously last year, the Phillies snapped their 11-year playoff drought. And then this year, Rob Thompson, coaching the NL, snaps the NL's 11-year losing streak in the All-Star game. So, there's something about when Rob Thompson gets his hands on something, he'll right the ship right away. Craig Kimbrell, I thought, closed the game out nice. Nick Castellanos had a big game. It was just nice to see that in a world where the Braves sent half the roster to the All-Star game, at the end of the game, everyone was talking about the Phillies still.
Seems like it always happens. We always one up them when the lights are the brightest, so I'm not surprised. But my man, Philly Rob, A+ in the wardrobe throughout the week.
Oh, he looked fresh, dude.
Oh, my awesome. God. I didn't know he had it in him.
Me either. I don't think he does. Someone definitely hooked him up with that shirt.
Someone had to, right? Yeah, someone.
Yeah, he looked like he was ready to go start stepping out at one of H2O in Atlantic City or something. Like he was maybe going to Noto in Philly. Like he was going to a premier club in that get up.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was
the drip king, Philly Rob. I didn't know.
Stunning. I don't know if you watched the whole thing. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. I turned it back on in the 9th because I still happened to be up. But, dude, even when the Phillies are involved in anything, they make it as stressful as possible.
Of course.
Craig Kimbrell comes in, having a great season, 2 walks, puts himself in a jam against some of the best hitters in the AL, digs himself out of it, but he gave everyone a taste of what the greater Philadelphia area has to deal with 162 times a season.
Mm-hmm. I didn't watch much of it, but I thought he was going to blow it. One on for Julio Rodriguez, the hometown kid. Like, the script writers were going crazy, man.
A day after he got done absolutely raking in the home run derby.
That was the first round of champions, and then he lost.
That's whatever. Look, the home run derby, I don't care who wins. For me, it's whoever has the best round. Like, that first round from Julio Rodriguez, I'll remember more than Vlad Guerrero Jr. winning it. I'm sure it's cool that he won it, his dad won it at some point. But there were two moments bigger than that. Julio's first round in Seattle was iconic, and then Adley Rutschman hitting from both sides of the plate in the home run derby. Those two moments for me is what I'll remember the 2023 Derby for.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I cashed Vlad Guerrero against Julio Rodriguez, so it feels good out here. It was like plus 300 because everyone's like, oh, he's gonna win the Derby. I'm like, these big rounds don't get followed up. Like
no, they're always gassed. The other thing I remember as a Phillies fan, this was so liberating. One, Pete Alonso is the biggest tryhard, nerd, swear, whatever in the MLB. Like this is the event where it's like the dunk contest. All your buddies are there. Everyone's hyping each other up. You're meeting the families. People's kids are out there. Like, you're just kind of hanging. You're hitting bombs. This hardo spends the entire first round in the batting cage doing squats and getting reps in, and he still got his lunch money taken. And it made me feel really good because that is just some loser energy.
I gotta respect the hustle. That man is trying to be the greatest home run derby hitter ever, and it's just not working out.
But that's like the kid, when you would play anything in gym class, and he'd be stretching and running plays. Everyone hates that guy. You suck.
Yeah, I will say the home run derby is 50 times better than the dunk contest because
it is.
I mean, I don't know if didn't Shohei do one already? I feel like he did.
He may have. I'm not sure. For my money, the dunk contest is the best skills competition in all-star games across the board.
It is, but it's just so.
No, not the dunk contest. Sorry, my bad. The home run derby.
Oh yeah, then you're right.
Yeah. The home run derby is the most electric part of any all-star weekend.
200%. The dunk contest used to be it, and then it's just lost its shine, I guess, when people stopped doing it. Now you have Mac McClung out there,
and he put on a hell of a show. It's
he
just
did.
The name recognition isn't there.
No, not like the. I could see Aaron Judge doing a derby before he quits. And I can't see LeBron or Giannis doing a dunk contest before they hang it up. So that just tells you all you need to know.
Exactly. And to wrap it up, we're going to do a little psychiatric study, I guess you could say. And a lot of the accounts on Twitter that we follow, and the general demeanor of this Phillies team is just a bunch of knuckleheads, a bunch of goons or whatever. Just they're just out there vibing, having a good time, and happy playing a baseball game. The running joke is that there's one brain cell amongst that team, and they all share it, which I tend to agree because you listen to some of the shit some of them say, and they're just having fun. They're not taking it seriously, which is great. And the Sixers, you have all these really cerebral guys. I mean, Tobias Harris reads a lot of books. James Harden has his businesses, and it's a different kind of vibe. And then the Eagles, you have super focus in Jalen Hurts. Jason Kelsey's becoming a media star / comedian before our very eyes. He's phenomenal. Lane Johnson's always been hysterical. Brandon Graham, they're starting to get kind of a Phillies vibe, where just a bunch of fun, go-loving dudes who happen to play football. I mean, but they weren't quite there yet.
I mean, the Christmas album might have pushed it over the edge.
The Christmas album? How did I fit the Christmas album?
The Christmas album pushed it over the edge. Come on now.
You're right. The Christmas album is absolutely a staple. And then Dallas Goedert really brought it home on, I believe he was on Bussin' with the Boys, if I'm not mistaken. And they were, it somehow came up about the moon landing. And basically he said, he was like, we may have been on the moon, but we weren't on the moon when they said we were on the moon. We didn't even have Bluetooth at the time, so how were they getting images back down to Earth? I don't know. I just don't really believe it. And people in Philadelphia rejoiced because it was oh my God, look, the Eagles are dumb, the Phillies are dumb. They're the two teams that are succeeding or lacking in the IQ department. We found the formula. So Ryan, I ask you, are dumb teams better teams?
I gotta watch Quarterback on Netflix to confirm this because I need to see how Patrick Mahomes is outside of the NFL. You know what I mean? But I think it's true. When you're just a bunch of people having fun, it's no smarts. Kudos to James Harden for owning all those businesses and Tobias Harris reading all those books. But The Sixers just don't do it for us, It's just failure is inevitable. But like,
Yep.
It's the atmosphere that I think it's not more so dumb teams. It's more so the atmosphere of guys being dudes, kind of deal, and just hanging out, having fun, and they take it seriously. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they take it seriously, but like, I feel like when you look at Philly from the outside, it feels like the Sixers are just disappointing, while the Phillies and Eagles are. It's like a Squidward, the SpongeBob meme, where he's in the house, where Squidward's in the house looking down, and it's the Sixers looking down at the Eagles and the Phillies, just having a good time. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and there's probably a couple factors that go into that. I mean, both of those teams have an insane amount of kind of grace with the city right now. The Phillies coming off an improbable World Series run. The Eagles having won Super Bowl in 17, having gone back in 22, should have won it. The field was wet, what have you. So both of those teams kind of have a lot of wiggle room to, to falter here and there, and people still love them. I think for the Sixers, they've disappointed us so often that, I think I don't even know if it would work for them. Like, I think if they said some outlandish stuff or one of them started a podcast, I know Tyrese Maxey is a podcast, but if one of them did the Kelsey Brothers podcast, something fun, I might be annoyed. I might be like, dude, you guys suck. Get back in the. If they put out a Christmas album, I would be livid. I'll put it that way.
I mean, it'd be competing with the other Philly team, and like we've said it here before, Jordan Mailata has some pipes, so like that's some serious competition out there. So
he sang at his own wedding. Did you see that?
I saw that. It was what a guy. What a guy. What a stud. Jeff Stoutland's coaching some singers over there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, what other own lineman? But okay, we're gonna wrap it up here. But there is one thing I forgot to put on the show docket that I wanted to ask you about. And, everyone's excited about Jalen Carter, I myself included. I thought we were kind of on stable footing, like we're going to move into the season, what have you. And then he was just recently named in a lawsuit regarding the accident that he fled from. I know you're not an insider. I'm not an insider. But, just in your gut or whatever you've read, is this something we need to worry about, or is this just going to go away?
I think it's gonna go away. It's just, I mean, maybe I don't know. It's a tough situation because, like, it's not like the Alvin Kamara thing where the guy's still alive, like, kind of deal.
Yeah,
this is a fatal car crash, so like, I don't know.
And this is really more delicate territory than we typically get into.
Yeah, both things are terrible that I'm mentioning.
Yeah, it's horrible. I don't condone any part of it. I also don't really give him he was just a kid pass. I mean, you're a public figure at that point. So I'm definitely not letting them off the hook at all. And I would feel differently about it if the person who came forward was, directly affected, or a family member or something like that. To understand is it was a staff member at Georgia that came forward with this suit, which seems bizarre to me. It almost seems a little cash grabby in a sense. Like, again, if it was the victim's family or victim's relatives or anything like that, completely different tone. But a third party bringing the suit just feels weird to me.
Well, was it one of the Georgia? Because I remember there was another Georgia employee like there, or like remotely close to the situation. Was it that person?
It doesn't have a name on the article. It's it's a Georgia, right? I mean, I don't know if it's a court proceeding. They don't release the names or anything, but the article I read just kept listing a Georgia staff member, so that's why I was a little bit skeptical. But
because if I remember correctly, there was a Georgia staff member present for all of this. If I might be miscalling it, but that's what I remember. So
that would change everything. If that's the case, I retract everything I just said. But I'm sure we'll get more information as it comes.
We will. I just want the distractions to end for him. It's not a distract. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's not a distraction. Like, I feel terrible for the family of the victim who lost their life. Like, you know what I mean? It's not.
It was. I get what you're saying. It's not like, look, this is inconvenient. Make it go away. It's more of the fact that, like, when we drafted him, we were under the impression that this was already handled.
already handled. He put it behind him, and it seems like he hasn't put it behind him.
Yeah, I think that's the more concerning part. But we'll get more information as it comes out. And I'm sure next week we'll have a little bit more than we do this week. But not to end it on a more somber note, but I mean, we do try and keep track of the Eagles as much as if not more than any of the other teams, and that was some big Eagles news. So we will see you all next week right back here on the Patterson Report. We're working on getting some guests. We've got 3 or 4 really great Philadelphia media members who are interested in coming on. We're trying to line up some dates. Everyone's got shit going on, but in the near future, we are going to be a little bit more guest driven. So keep an eye out from that. If you want to hop on the shows, shoot us a DM at Patterson Report on Twitter, or to somebody you want to see us get on the show. Send me their information. We'll start talking to them and see if we can make something happen. But in the meantime, you got me. I'm Philly Brandon. You got Ryan. You got the Patterson Report. We'll see you next week.